Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. We have got two incredible players here today in a match from ESL Summer. So it's pretty much the best of the best as far as it goes for offline tournaments. And so, in this TvZ, we have got ByuN, my favorite Terran player to watch, my favorite Korean Terran player to watch. And in the bottom left, it is Reynor, the hotshot Zerg player who's sort of been at a very high level for a very long time at this point. Definitely proven himself to be one of the guys who is indeed a champion player that wasn't necessarily just like a one-hit wonder like some players. No, he's consistently one of the top dogs. And seeing him versus ByuN is going to set us up for a fantastic match as sort of like an, what's the saying, immovable object versus an unstoppable force. And ByuN is going to be starting off with some hard aggression. That's exactly why I wanted to cast a match between these two. It's just going to be dynamite. We've got the mini maps actually on there. In the bottom corner, you can see how fast these guys' cameras are moving. That's actually nuts. I'm not used to that. I think that's new, actually. And now we take a look here. We have got ByuN just opening up for 3 Rax Proxy Reaper. Not one, not 2, but 3 Rax Proxy Reaper. Going way back. Now, I guess the map Royal Blood is one that lends to this potentially, or at least ByuN thinks so. And so we'll see how well is Reynor going to deal with this. Now, Reynor has scouted out. He's gone for a very conservative build, a very safe build. Not going for any lings just yet, but he went for an early spawning pool, a very quick speed. He knows something's up. He is getting ready for this after seeing those two barracks pop up. He knows 100% now. And so, let's wait and see whether ByuN's going to be able to get too much damage, and I imagine he'll have to do a fairly quick transition out of this one, just with Reynor being so prepared for this. I mean, he's going to have link speed out in a matter of, like, what, 30 seconds or something like that? So that's a darn big deal, and yeah, let's see. But before we get too far into this match, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below if you enjoy these kind of videos. Say 99 Reapers in the comments down below, and yeah, that does help with the YouTube algorithm and stuff. So let's take a look here. ByuN is transitioning. He's just making Reapers, but as far as the build goes, I think Reynor read this pretty much perfectly. He of course did hinder his economy a little bit by going for the early spawning pool, but it was a perfect read. Now he's got link speed. Those Reapers have no choice but to run home pretty much, and so ByuN is just keeping them home. You do not want to be a Terran player who's making like 9 Reapers, and that's how many ByuN's going up to, and then just keep them at home. Not a single unit has died this game. That is a big deal. Now, Reynor is just droning, so he actually could get caught out a little bit, as ByuN does have pretty much more Reapers than there is lings on the map at this point. 7 Reapers to 10 lings, and ByuN's making more Reapers, so there is potential for these Reapers to get something done. Just sort of Reynor easing off the gas a little bit, just going into macro mode, and this is where ByuN could potentially find some damage. I still think it's an incredibly risky play from ByuN here, just because the Zerg is usually pretty, like, once a Zerg is ready to defend Reapers, they're pretty much always ready. Like, a couple of Queens in the Ling should be able to deal with this, particularly since Reynor saw this, but then Reynor does actually sack some of his Lings, so he has to produce a few more. He's going to be under a little bit of heat right now, but ByuN is under pressure to get a lot of damage done. Is he going to try and get this hatchery? That would be nuts if he does. That would be good damage, seeing as how it's very close to finishing up as well. Queens are moving out, going to try and save it, but can't be transfused until it's finished. However, it does finish up, so it should have at least 1 transfuse available. The Queen is just finishing that up, so now the Reapers are engaging, trying to bait Reynor into a bad engagement. ByuN wants either the Queens, the hatcheries, the Queens or the hatchery basically, and he's trying to force Reynor to choose either one of those, but so far almost a perfect defense by Reynor. Reapers come out, now they're going back in. Reynor, however, has made a lot more lings, and that was just about a perfect defense there from the red Zerg. Look at that, hatchery alive, not a single Queen dead. Beautiful, beautiful defense, and ByuN is miles behind in this game, I believe. Or I'll say. I mean, he's got 3 racks, so he's going to have starports to pressure soon, but he's going to be under pressure to get a lot of damage done. Reynor can transfuse his hatchery again at some point if he feels like it's under a little bit of heat. The Reapers are coming back on in, but they got to be oh so careful because now Reynor is up to 26 lings. That's more than enough to catch these Reapers out. So ByuN's got to be oh so careful. No, he's going up the ramp. Reynor knows. Oh, all the Reapers are going to die here. No. Good grenade and evacuation by ByuN. If he wasn't paying attention for half a second, those would all be dead. Transfuse going off on this hatchery. Reynor not taking any chances. I love to see it because he probably knows that ByuN's follow-up plan for this is to go for like a 2 racks drop, and 2 racks drops are pretty good at getting 3rd hatcheries. So we take a look here. ByuN's still just 2-basing it up, so committed to this aggressive play style. Reynor macroing up. He's been hindered a little bit, having to defend his hatchery, make some extra lings and stuff, but he's still on a very good track, getting up 1-1, about to start up a 4th base, it appears. Baneling nest on the way, lair on the way. ByuN has to get a lot of damage done here. And Reynor, with his scouting, should know that ByuN is pretty much still just a 2-base Terran. Although he hasn't seen too much else, but there we go. There's the move that it gets seen. So now he knows. He's like, oh boy, I need to defend here. There we go. 8 banelings on the way. As soon as that attack is seen, he's going to be trying to position his queens and his lings appropriately to deal with this. The Reapers, I imagine, will be joining up with this. Their grenades can be very powerful. Very tough to utilize them correctly while you're trying to stim and split a bio army. But if you can use those grenades, that is very effective. And ByuN is one of those players who's an expert at this. Reynor trying to counterattack, but there's a great wall there. Siege tank behind it, a few Marines to defend. That's all it takes now. The Marines are kiting back. Baneling's getting bounced into the air, a little bit scary there. However, lings do come back. The army gets surrounded and killed off there. Let's see, 9 dead Reapers, 5 dead Marines. All those Reapers are gone. And at the end of their story, they did not get their value that was needed. ByuN unloading into these lings, but that's questionable. I mean, he trades out okay-ish. But still, not what he needed to get done there. Like, ByuN needs monumental damage in this game. He's got to kill Reynor or deal some critical damage in, like, the next minute or 2, because this is a 60 drone Zerg that's going to have centrifugal hooks. Those speedy banelings do not get any easier to deal with. The tanks will help ByuN potentially. He's got 2 Liberators on the way as well, which are actually quite effective against Zerg. Now we see those tanks shooting at the banelings. Good target fire from ByuN. Ling's trying to get on top of the tanks, but no, Reynor's defense does not quite come together there. And all of a sudden, he is going to have to abandon this 4th base, and this is the kind of thing that ByuN needed. This is the bare minimum that ByuN needed to stay in this game. He really wants that 3rd base if he can get it, but there's a lot of Zerg out. Like, this is 40, 50 Zerglings, 10 banelings, 10 queens. ByuN is gonna be tight pressed to get some work done here. He may actually just be better off evacuating out of here. He's gonna hang with his siege tanks for now, but Baneling speed is about to finish up, and there's 15 banelings out now. I mean, there's what, 15 banelings and 15 Marines in this army here? That is not good math for the Terran. The Marines are engaging, trying to bait Reynor into a bad fight. Reinforcements are coming. I do wonder where those Liberators ended up. 2 of them moving across the map, so ByuN gonna use them for harass, not in the main push. He's got to split his Marines excellently here. He's now got 3 tanks. Reynor, no doubt, will be looking to surround this at some point. He's got units on the right side, I guess, because he's fearing a drop, but instead it's actually Liberator harassment. So Reynor had a new 4th base up, but it is not going to mine at all. ByuN's pressuring the 4th. He can potentially snipe this off. No, he is being pushed back. He stepped very far on creep. Now he's got to retreat. He's got some Marines defending that tank. Reynor actually backs off that. I think maybe he should have kept going there. That was like 8 Marines versus all those Zerglings, but he figures that he could not push any further, playing conservatively, all the while having to deal with these Liberators, so he pulls the queens away. ByuN is putting on a lot of aggression here. He wants that hatchery. He needs that hatchery. He's going to go for the Spore instead. I guess he expects the queens to be there to transfuse, but he will get it. That's a darn big deal. Lings are now moving across the map. Banelings moving across the map. All while this is going on, ByuN has got up a 3rd base, so he's not super duper committed here. Like, there is transition potential now that he's got good damage done. Knocked the Zerg down to 3 bases, 4th on the way. ByuN's upgrades are still lagging behind. Reynor's got 2-2 on the way. The armory not yet done for ByuN, so he would like to get some more work done. He's got to be so careful with this army, though. It makes me nervous being out on the map. Like, look at this. Reynor is trying to set up a big surround here. Okay. Tanks shelling creep in the main. Look at this, Zerg is ready to collapse, and here we go. These tanks, I think, are not going to be on the map too much longer. Maybe ByuN can save some of the Marines, and he does, but that is a pretty big loss there for the Terran, having his tank count cut down. Marauders are now on the way for ByuN, though, while this is going on. That's going to help him deal with the high count of Banelings that Reynor will likely have. If we take a look at the army supply in the bottom there, it's fairly even. It's actually very even, which is generally a good sign for the Terran. ByuN just basically has to avoid counterattacks by Reynor, and Reynor is thinking about it. 8 Banelings on the way. That's a lot of Zerglings there. Oh my gosh, how many is that? He's got 100 on the map, so it's fair to assume that that's a few Banelings there. Now, ByuN, he's going out for a drop. Double medivac. He's always loading these up and moving out with them. Burrowed Banelings are now out on the map. ByuN might have actually seen those burrow. I'm not sure whether he was paying attention there or not, but now he's got to worry about Baneling landmines, and oh, he actually doesn't see them. He knows now for sure, but that was, I believe, 11 dead Marines there for Reynor, so 2 Banelings for 11 Marines. That's a pretty darn good connection. ByuN's now going to have to be scanning wherever he goes, which is not something you want to do as Terran when you're sort of just chugging along on 3 bases. These Marines getting caught. Fortunately for ByuN there, it wasn't any Banelings leading the charge, so the Marines did get a bit of saving grace. ByuN had a second to react, more so than maybe he could have. Let's see, he's scanning, yeah, worried about those burrowed Banelings now. He's got to worry about those the rest of the game. Reynor set up for a massive counterattack. ByuN has got a Widow Mine there, a tank, some units in the wall. Will this mine get a good connection? The answer is not quite. Reynor's going to bait it out. It does get its shot nullified there. ByuN's now trying to harass this position from the low and the high ground. Keep in mind there is no Widow Mines really in this army. There's 2. It's actually more than I thought there was, just seeing those now. Or there's 3 actually. So that's okay. That is enough to give Reynor a little bit of pause, but still, it's quite a Zerg force here out on the map. ByuN though has been building up non-stop. Reynor's economy, I mean, he's trying to get up his 4th base, his 5th base again, so he'll be on a 5-base economy, which is what the Zerg needs at this point, but ByuN is going to kill that off. Resetting the Zerg down to 4 bases. This army is going to be getting cleaned up for the most part, it looks like, but then ByuN, utilizing that high ground, going to be able to pick off that hatchery, it would appear. Queens come in, they don't actually transfuse it. I believe they could have there. That's a big deal. Hydras are now out for Reynor, so this game is going to get more and more scrappy, but the notable thing in this match, I'll say, is that ByuN has been the one dealing the damage. Reynor has not got off one successful counterattack. ByuN is sort of fanning out to be a 4-base player, which really opens the Terran up. But it's a 4-base Terran now against a 4-base Zerg. If you've followed Starcraft for any amount of time, you know that that is not a good thing for the Zerg. Albeit Reynor, a fantastic one, is not out of this by any means, but ByuN has been really pulling this game together. And it's not like Reynor's made any massive mistakes or anything like that. In fact, he's been lethal with those burrowed mines. He actually just about killed like 4 Widow Mines there. That would have been huge. Zerg is spilling forward again, going to try and bait out some of those Widow Mines. ByuN, though, does not have to retreat due to the tanks in those mines, though. But yeah, Reynor is really under the pressure. Royal Blood really is a map that ByuN is utilizing to its full potential, just setting up in these great positions. So Ogre's tanks and mines are going down. They do trade out against a lot of that Zerg. ByuN being chased off creep, kiting the Banes as much as he can, but he does have no choice but to lift off. While this is going on, though, another force is attacking in right towards the heart of the Zerg. Widow Mines are going to burrow. ByuN just hoping for some big connections. Instead, it's just friendly fire. You're going to need more than that if you're going to try and catch Reynor out. We see ByuN remustering, going to be going for another push here, probably on the left side, I suppose. Reynor, though, in a potential position to counterattack for the first time in a while. There is a bit of bio with this planetary, so that'll actually go speak volumes towards defending it. And these Hydras could get caught out a little bit. There's burrowed Banelings there, but they're right in the scan, so they are going to be seen. Reynor just says enough is enough. He's going to turn and fight. I don't think that's the choice for him, though. ByuN stepping forward. Oh, burrowed Baneling there, trying to bait that Terran in. But ByuN is privy to that. We'll see if the Terran has a 5th base on the way soon. None of that just yet. Maybe he'll float his main base out. ByuN will be looking for that 5th. Reynor is already trying to get up a 6th base, while his 5th is just rebuilding. He has not been on a good base count pretty much this entire game, ever since ByuN got that 4th base hatchery early on. But look at that, ByuN just going to unload. This hatchery is going to be cancelled or killed. There's an attack going on. It is killed. Reynor not able to multitask, trying to manage his fragile banelings while this is going on. The Hydras can sort of keep the bio at bay a little bit. Banelings are getting some decent connections, and the Hydras are whittling off some of the Marauders, but ByuN's army really is looking formidable here. More Banelings are rolling forward. Yeah, that Terran army gets pushed back, but things are not getting any better for Reynor. A drop in the main base now. ByuN is just a straight-up menace. Let's see here. 3-3 on the way for ByuN. Command center on the way here for ByuN. So he is teching up further. Reynor, upgrade-wise, has not started anymore, but he is getting up to lurkers, which is sort of a save game state for the Zerg. Once you got lurkers out, you're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. I mean, lurkers are good though, but losing your 5th base is definitely not. Reynor being knocked down to a pitiful economy at this point. 4 bases, pretty much 2 of them already mined out. He really is going to need some high lurker efficiency from here on. And where are those lurkers? Those lurkers are just hanging out at the 3rd base. Yeah, but Reynor's going to try and reestablish this position. But just look at this cliff here. This is so abusable by ByuN. There's mines at the bottom of the ramp. I mean, Bio has good range, so they can always just lift up and lift down with the Medivac support. I imagine ByuN will be making more Liberators. He's even taken the gold as a staging point against Reynor. This is such an uncomfortable position for the Zerg. ByuN is pushing towards the left side. Going to try and bait the Zerg into some Widow Mines. No drilling claws yet for ByuN, by the way. So those mines do take a minute to burrow. But, I mean, ByuN is pushing towards the 5th base of Reynor. It's going to get killed off yet again. So while the attack on the left side does largely get cleaned up after a Widow Mine kills off a bunch more Zerglings, it's still not great here. As ByuN is now getting up his 5th base against a 4-base Zerg. These lurkers coming in could potentially just annihilate this base. This is actually what Reynor needed to do. He cannot let this base get up. The Planetary is actually shooting on one of those lurkers, but the scan expires. Unfortunately there for ByuN, but ByuN is just focused on other positions. He's just repairing that base. The 4th base of Reynor is going to go down. And I mean, that's pretty much the last mining base that he has. A drop on both sides here. There is a lurker to defend that position, so ByuN maybe be getting a bit ahead of himself, but that's just because he's confident at this point in the game. I mean, things are not getting any better for Reynor. A scan, I believe that PF killed off like 2 lurkers there. That's actually a big deal as far as planetary fortresses go. He's probably pretty popular now. Let's take a look. Is that PF going to get killed by the lurkers? ByuN does start repairing it, but he just elects to abandon that base. It's 4 base against 4 base. I mean, maybe he could have held on to it there, but he says, no, that's enough. I actually think he probably could have kept that alive had he repaired a little bit earlier, but either way, it's like ByuN's 4 base against 4 base Zerg. The Terran's base on the right side is a lot fresher than the Zerg, who's been sort of hopping back and forth between bases all game. We pull up the income here. That's yeah, that's not looking too hot. Okay, ByuN coming on down, charging on in. More lurkers finishing up for Reynor. I mean, ByuN can lose his army in an instant to some bad lurkers or banelings. However, ghosts are now on the way for ByuN, so he's going to be able to start sniping those units, punishing them. Reynor is attempting to get up a 5th base yet again, but the problem is creep hasn't been spread out at all to this location. So ByuN can really just attack on in at this. 1 lurker is harassing this base, so ByuN's got to bring a drop over. That's a great move by the Zerg. Low cost for high value. Scan will pick off that lurker. ByuN is very rich, though. I'd like to see him throw up a couple more command centers. Instead, he's just electing to lift off his main, which will actually be a vulnerable point for him. As he tries to mine off that, that is just a non-planetary that Reynor can potentially harass. So I'd love to see a couple more PFs from or command centers from ByuN spend his money. He's eased off the gas a little bit here as Reynor is solidifying. The Zerg player almost maxed out. ByuN's all over on the map, but yeah, look at this. Reynor's he's just going to keep attacking the space non-stop. I guarantee you, if ByuN just leaves it as an orbital, like, ByuN is really going to have to be on it. There's so many lurkers out for the Zerg, they can just burrow and unburrow. They're about to have that adaptive talon, so they're going to be so quick at it now, and Reynor could potentially go for a kill move here. Not to overstate it, but how good lurkers are, but Like, if lurkers get in your base as a Terran, your production is camped and you're screwed. A lot of these are going down. The snipes are going down. Marauders are trading against the lurkers. And ByuN just needs an okay trade, and it looks like he is going to get it. The lurkers are slaughtering a lot of this Terran army, but Reynor cannot afford to replace these. And I believe that's probably going to be it. I mean, there's more lurkers coming on in. Like, that was a good attempt by Reynor, but ByuN had too good of a surround against that. The lurkers need a little bit more cover than they have here for Reynor, I feel. And while the Zerg did get up another base, ByuN is still doing pretty darn good for himself. Ling's looking for a tiny counterattack. There's like 6 Zerglings there. ByuN still hasn't been able to land that base, so he's just going to build a turret. It's like, I don't have a free scan, so okay, turret. I mean, Reynor's hanging on. This game's not over yet, but I really do think that after that last engagement, that Reynor is sitting pretty. ByuN still got the upgrade advantage. That really came into effect there. Looks like there was a pause there. The game is back on. Okay, let's see. Liberator's moving out for some harassment once more. Now, Lurker harassing this base. ByuN did build a lot more command centers. All command centers, so he's got lots of mules and scans for days. That Lurker does get cleaned up. ByuN doesn't need this base up now at its 5th base, as he is starting to run out of resources too. It's entering into a pretty low eco stage of the game, but Reynor needs more time if he's going to build up and deal with all these ghosts, and he does not have the time or the money, I feel like. There's 13 ghosts out against all these lurkers. These can just be sniped for days, and ByuN just needs decent trades still, and he is going to get that snipes going down on the lurkers. I mean, Reynor is holding the top of the ramp, which is good for him. He's got a small Ling counterattack in the main, but the problem is there's no adrenal glands. Yeah, no adrenal glands, so those Lings really are lacking their damage. Reynor did get a hive, he just never got a chance to research that. And now all of a sudden ByuN is pushing on in. I mean, lurkers are getting some good shots on the Marauders, but the ghosts are just sniping everything down. The Zerg really is running out of juice here, and ByuN did not give Reynor any ground in that game. Just picking off bases left, right, and center. GG gets called, as the Terran player played incredibly well there. Of course, the Zerg didn't make any major mistakes. It's just, with someone like ByuN, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. And so thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a YouTube member if you want to support the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment's a pretty important one. And I'll see you guys next time.